and welcome back. So as you can see right now, we are in my home gym. And the reason why I like to do it in here is because this is my sanctuary. So some people might prefer a man cave. I prefer the gym. And one thing about this is like why I'm so excited to even be in the gym and why I spend a lot of time in here is because I tried to do this thing before, but what happened was I try to record videos, and then like if you're on social media, like how it is. Somebody always has a camera set up, and you walk past the camera and they flip out on you, and because they're trying to create content. And I try to do this too, and it's a horrible experience, and I wouldn't recommend it for anybody. But now that I have my own space, now I can help as many people as possible in the comfort of my own home. But just a little tangent, but let's go ahead and get into it. So you know that I mentioned like in other videos that you don't need a meal plan, and the reason why I am like such a firm believer in this is mainly because a meal plan is perfect. So when you have something perfect, that means that nothing can be changed or should be changed, because why change something that's working perfectly? And that's just not the reality of life. The reality of life is it's chaotic. You don't know what's going to happen. It's so unpredictable that having a meal plan is probably not the best way to go for most people that have a busy life. So this is the reason why I thought to myself, like, what could I do in order to help you get control of. Let's start off with the morning. So what can help you get in control of your morning so that you can start to build a lot of happier, healthier habits that are going to help you in the long run? So what I've done in this video, I've narrowed it down to 5 things that I do in my morning that can definitely help you in your morning, getting your routine set up, getting things established for you so that you can have more free time to do the things that you want to do. And this also establishes a lot of different connections within yourself so you can start making some different changes in your life. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so the first one I like to use is going to be the no snooze rule. So when I get up in the morning, the first thing that I do, and not to brag or anything like that, but the first thing that I do is I wake up in the morning, but I do it without an alarm. Just mainly because since I've been on this journey, and I like to watch like a lot of YouTube videos and things like that, one of the things that like a couple of people that I saw, they said like, you need to get up without an, or sorry, not get up without an alarm clock, but get up, don't hit your snooze button and do all this stuff. Well, I took it a step further and I do it without an alarm clock now. We'll jump into that later. But the first thing is getting up and not hitting the snooze button. So this may seem simple, but what this does is something really big. So this sets the standard of your day because it's essentially the first thing that you do upon waking up in the morning. So not hitting the snooze button sets the standard that you're going to be, that you are in control of the day. That means that you are prepared for the day and you're getting up for the day. So you don't need to, another 10 minutes, because honestly, hitting the snooze button is probably one of the worst things that you could possibly do for yourself. And also hitting the snooze button saves you that little bit of time. So most of the time when we set snooze, it's usually for like 5-10 minutes or something like that. So in this journey, why I say you don't need a plan is because little bits and pieces of time like this, a snooze can equal some other activity that's going to benefit you a lot more than getting sleep that doesn't actually help you. So the first thing on that list is just not hitting the snooze button. When the alarm goes off, get up. So the next thing that you want to do after you've gotten up successfully without hitting your snooze button is you want to head down to your kitchen and you want to go get a glass of water. And what this is going to do is going to rehydrate your body, because naturally overnight your body dehydrates itself. So you want to definitely rehydrate yourself. And what this is going to do is going to give you mental clarity, and it's also going to give you a little kick in your metabolism too. So there's no bad thing about drinking water. It's good for you, and it should always be the first thing that you put in your body in the beginning of the day. So the third thing is delaying your coffee consumption. So this goes along with number 2. So when you drink water first thing in the morning, you also want to delay your coffee, if you are a coffee drinker, to 60 minutes, at least 60 minutes after waking up. And the reason for this is because, and I didn't know this before, but I like to research things and like try to make my morning as optimal as possible, because we don't have a lot of time, and this is usually the part of day that we have the most flexibility. So The next thing is just drinking your coffee 60 minutes, at least 60 minutes upon waking. And the reason why is because you want to give your body the chance to naturally wake up. You don't want to force it with caffeine and your body hadn't even barely opened your eyes for at least 10 minutes. So you wait for 60 minutes and then you have your coffee. So what this does is it gives your body a chance to naturally wake up in the morning. And also there's something that I realized because I didn't feel like that my body really did anything different for waiting 60 minutes. I feel exactly the same. But what I did notice is that waiting 60 minutes kind of has like a pre-built in discipline factor to it. So delayed gratification of waiting 60 minutes for coffee, your eyes are barely open for a little while, and the first thing that gets them open is going to be coffee. But if you got to wait that 60 minutes, it's tough. I promise you, I've been doing this for about a little bit over a month now, and I haven't noticed a difference in my energy level, but I have noticed that that I have developed a little bit better habit of waiting for things, at least within 60 minutes. So not only is it beneficial for your body naturally, it's just good for you overall, just to, practice self-discipline early thing in the morning. So wait 60 minutes after waking to have your coffee. Now, this next one is a big one. This is one that a lot of people sleep on, and I'm not exactly sure why, but it's extremely important. So the next one is stretching. And the reason why this one is so important, this actually should probably be number one if I was ranking it. But stretching is probably one of the best things that you can do for yourself, because this is one of those things where if, the saying, if you don't use it, you lose it, this is true. So this was one of the first things that I worked on when I was like 280 pounds, because I could, but I couldn't comfortably work out because I had lost most of my flexibility. So one of the first things that I had to do was sit on the edge of my bed, and first thing in the morning when I wanted to put my socks on in the morning, I kind of had to lean off the edge of the bed, and I could barely touch my toes. So that gave me the catalyst to get started with stretching after I realized that I had way more problems than flexibility. I had a weight problem, I had a flexibility problem, and the list goes on and on and on. But the thing is, stretch, because you need your flexibility. It prevents easily preventable injuries, and it's just good for your range of motion as we get older, prevents us from having serious injuries. So you always want to make sure, if you don't do it now, start today. Do your stretches, stay injury free, because the older you get, the harder it becomes to recover from those easily prevented injuries. And the last thing is, it has nothing to do with physical activity or anything. This has to do with mental clarity. So the last thing I'm going to recommend that you do, and that I do and currently practice every day, is that I journal. And the reason why journaling is so important is because as men, we are not very good with opening up with feelings and thoughts in our head, but every day we wake up with something on our mind that we need to get taken care of. So what journaling does is it unloads your plate for that day. Usually I do my journaling in the morning because that's just what goes with my routine better. And when I journal in the morning, usually I don't do very long. I do maybe 10 to 15 minutes or something like that. But what that does is it offloads the things from the previous day so that you can clear the slate for things that you need to be more receptive of today. So if you haven't done that now, if you haven't journaled before, start today. And if you're wondering what you may need to journal, there's not a set thing that you actually have to journal. I do like my personal thoughts, what I have to do today. It's kind of like a lot of mixed bags, because there's a lot of things that I schedule my day, but I also write things inside of my journal about my day. So it's a little bit confusing, but I can dive a little bit more into that in later videos. But I encourage you, if you do not have a journal, go and get one. If you don't want a physical journal, just use your computer, use your phone. Everybody has a notes app, things like that. So there's no reason why you can't do it. And then also what I noticed is that the more I've started to write, the more things that just pop up into my head as far as things that I can write about. And so even if you don't have like a physical notebook or anything like that, just make sure you keep your notes in your phone handy, just to write down random ideas, because I've had some amazing thoughts at random times. And if I didn't have a notebook or anything like that, I'm glad I had my notes to write it down in. So these are the 5 things that I would recommend starting with in the morning. And the reason for that is because it's a very low barrier to entry, because we always feel like everything about fitness has to be difficult. It doesn't have to be difficult or complicated. So we have to start breaking down the walls of like what physical fitness is. It's just one of those other things in your life that you have to do day after day. It's not something that should be separated, and it's not something that you should have to struggle on. It's just something that we have to get used to doing on a day-by-day basis. Physical activity isn't just working out, it's just moving. And that's something that we all should be doing and we all used to do, but we just have to relearn it. So I hope that these things have helped you kind of clarify, some things that you can start incorporating in your morning to start getting a better hold of your day. Because as we all know, things start with a solid morning. So if you can get your morning under control, then the afternoon and the night becomes a little bit more manageable. So I hope that you guys got something from this video. I look forward to breaking down some things on the next video. I'll talk to you all later. Peace.